that stuff. Okay, so this is my second attempt at my first TikTok live. I don't know what it is about this evening. You know, I've been like kind of like struggling to, I've been trying to do some recordings. I've been struggling to find my voice and find my footing this evening. And I finally feel as though I found my voice. And you know, I am a little tired. And I'm thinking, okay, you should just take your ball and go home. You should just go watch some TV, go chill, go do something. You know, go do something else and give it a rest. Stop trying. And for some reason, I just feel the desire to do this. I feel the desire to try this and, you know, make it work, try again. Like I said, this is my first live and it's my second attempt at my first TikTok live. And I just feel like talking. I feel like, and I'm not a natural talker. I am an introvert. So this doesn't come naturally for me. This is outside my comfort zone, but yet still I just feel something inside myself really wanting to go for it. And even though, you know, maybe a little tired and I've been at this for hours now, I've been recording and just doing some stuff in here and I've been at it for hours, I just feel the urge to really, you know, really try this, really go for it, really stick it out and talk about some things. So let me just introduce myself. I am Letitia. I'm 42. I'm a 42-year-old millennial mom of 5 children. I'm a homeschooling, home managing mom. And I like to say home managing because, you know, it's basically like running the household and, you know, just organizing things and getting things together and all that, you know, so managing the home, managing. I am an INFJ empath. And an INFJ is an introvert, intuitive, judging, feeling personality. And the reason I like to share that I'm an INFJ empath is because my outlook at the world, the way how I look at things is rare. You know, I look at things from a really different perspective, a very unique perspective. I have to really manage, I have to navigate this world, and it's even harder to be an INFJ empath in this timeline because I feel things, I absorb things, I observe things, I pay close attention to stuff, I listen, I try to learn, I try to understand, you know, I try to connect the dots. And this era, this period that we're in is like madness and chaos. It is madness and chaos. And navigating this timeline as an INFJ empath is painful. It's painful because I feel the intense energy and the heaviness of this moment inside my body. You know, I feel that, especially on really triggering days where the news is just horrible. You know, it's been horrible. It's been horrible for the last 6 days. It's been horrible for the last 2 months. But the last 6 days was just insanity, which we expected. Which we expected. You know, we expected it to be crazy. Anybody that was paying attention to what was going on knew that this was going to be, you know, intentionally shocking. You know. And it was going to be horrible. It was going to be chaos. It was going to be... it was just going to be terrible. So we knew it. And as far as I'm concerned, as an INFJ empath, I'm very intentional with the information that I take in. So I don't just go chasing every headline. I don't just go read every article. I don't just go listen to everything. You know, I don't just go listen to everything. I'm very intentional with what I pick to listen to and absorb and pay attention to, you know, because like I said, I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew it was going to be madness. I knew it was going to be chaos. And I felt like that's, to me, I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about certain things that are, well, most things that are happening. So the only thing that I can control is me, how I manage, how I navigate. And I do like to be informed. So I am aware of all the things that are happening. I don't dig deep for all the details, but I'm aware of all the things that are going on. I do like to be informed, but at the same time, I feel like, to me, swipe right. To me, I feel like, to me, the most important thing that I could do right now is to hold on to the light, keep the faith, let my light shine. The most important thing that I could do right now is not get consumed by the despair, not get consumed by the fear, not get swallowed by the despair and by the fear, because I feel like that is what they want us to do. They want us to be afraid, and we have good reason to be. They want us to be panicked and stressed and sad and depressed and all, all the negative. They want us to just be consumed and drowned in the negative feelings so that we can't think straight, we can't make good decisions, we can't actually do things that we could do things about. We can't focus on what we could do. It is very, very difficult to be, like I said, an INFJ empath in this timeline. It's very difficult. It's difficult for everybody, but it's very energetically intense for somebody like me. I just caught wind of the fact that there was a whole thing, because like I said, I'm not paying close attention to all the nonsense, but there was a whole thing about somebody saying that empathy is a sin, and it got me curious. So I googled it to see who said that and what's that all about. And to my shock, or not shock, but to my understanding now, I see that there are articles, more than one article, from people, that call themselves Christian, I guess, from people that are supposed to be believers and all that, writing about the sin of empathy. And honestly, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And I understand, I've come to understand, especially in the last 2 months, I've come to understand why people think the way they do now, why people respond the way they do, why people act the way they do, because you're bombarded with so much information, right? And there are people that write with such dark intentions and dark narratives, like the upside down world, where people are now writing stuff and making videos and going on and having podcasts and having conversations and making all the things that we grew up hearing were bad things good things, like things that were bad behavior is now good behavior. And the people who try to do things in the right way and try to do things out of kindness and out of love and out of empathy and do good for other people and be Christ-like, those are the people that are radical, and those are the bad people, and those are the people we shouldn't trust, and those are the bad people. Those are the people that we should not elevate to leadership. Those, those are the bad people. And we're in an upside down, crazy world right now. And like, it's baffling. It's baffling to me, you know. It is, I know that's baffling to a lot of other people, and I know right now we are processing it. It's a challenge because it kind of like, just like, it leaves you like kind of like you I don't know, you're wondering that, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just madness. No, it's just madness, and my whole thing is that how I am trying to deal with it is I am trying to, like I said, hold on to my light. That's why I choose this filter with the stars. I like the stars. Hold on to my light and keep the faith and work on strengthening myself, as best as I can. I am a mom of 5 children, and I homeschool. So focusing on myself is not an all-day project. I have to focus on other things. I'm responsible to other things. I'm responsible to my home and my children and all that. But what I've been trying to do is to step into my purpose, step into my light, step into my calling, what I feel like I am supposed to do at this time. And the kind of person I've always been is, I've always been the kind of person, that's why I'm wearing my sunflower shirt. I got that sunflower energy. I've always been the kind of person that stand tall in what I believe in, stand firm in my beliefs, stand firm in my truth, stand firm in doing the right thing, and keeping my face in the light, keeping my eyes to the light. I've always been the kind of person that would see the positive or the silver lining, or try to encourage people, or try to put positive energy into the world, put love into the world, put kindness into the world, put good things into the world. I don't get easily angered. I do get angry, but I don't easily get angry. And when I get angry, it doesn't stick. It doesn't hold. It doesn't matter what it is. It just doesn't hold, And I used to see myself as a weirdo on this planet that doesn't belong. And it's only as, this whole social media thing happened, and not even as this social media happened, because when social media first started happening, I wasn't really that into it. I was late for my first Facebook account. I was late to all these apps. I was late to Twitter. I was late to all these things. I didn't initially just join these things and, started using social media. To be honest, I really became highly social media active in 2017, when the world just changed. Somebody was elected, and it was a shocker, and it was a horrible person it was a horrible person, that was elected. And I wanted to speak up. I wanted to speak against what I was seeing. I noticed the shift in people. I noticed the ugliness that was arising. I just noticed the difference in the world when that happened. And it has never been the same. It got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse, in some ways, but also better in some ways, because people started waking up, including myself. People start, we got people talking about wokeism now. Oh gosh, I saw the quote today. Wokeism is dangerous. Wokeism is a bad thing. But how I see it, to me, wokeism, being woke, is just being alert, being aware, paying attention, noticing what's going on around you, noticing what's happening in the world, you know, being aware of the things that are happening and going on around you. And I had my spiritual awakening in 2016. And from the time that I had my spiritual awakening, because I used to struggle with anxiety and everything, and from the time I had my spiritual awakening, everything changed for me. I became more connected to everything around me. All my senses was heightened. I started listening, I started understanding, I started learning more, and I started to pay attention. And the more I paid attention, the more I learn about this world, the more I learn about the good stuff in this world and the bad stuff in this world, you know. And the more I started to see people, I started to see the worst in people and the worst people. And I started to see the best in people and the best people. And I like to say that this is my first live, so that's why I'm just talking. I don't know if people are actually watching me. I can see that there's people, but this is my first TikTok live, so I don't know what I'm looking at really. I see one person at the top there, and then I see all these people that are joining. So I'm assuming that these people down here where you see joined, those are the people who are watching from the outside of the live. And the one person up here might be the person that is in the live. I don't know, but this is my first TikTok live. I don't know if I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk to just get a feel for it, and I may like watch a video or something to learn the whole ins and outs of it. But I wanted to talk. I wanted to do my first live, and like I was saying, for my spiritual awakening, everything changed, and I became more connected to everything. I started to feel things more deeply and be more connected to humanity and the planet, and I wanted to be a representative, like I wanted to care for my planet more. I wanted to make more conscious decisions. I wanted to be a different person. And since that awakening, I have been becoming a different person. And I've been loving the person that I have been becoming. But at the same time that I feel as though I was growing into the best woman, the kind of woman I wanted to be, the best person I wanted to be, I noticed people becoming the worst people that I've ever seen in my life. I've never witnessed people be so publicly awful. And I understand why people felt emboldened to be publicly awful, because a leader rose to power that was publicly awful, that was a bully and a tyrant and a narcissist and an like the worst that I've ever seen of any actual human that I ever knew existed. And then all of a sudden, he emboldened other people to be like that. And more people started popping up in the public sphere that was like that, And we have gotten to the point now where truth is optional now, People just lie. They boldly lie. They lie in such obvious ways, and they get away with it. It's accepted. It's the norm now. It's the norm to lie. It's the norm to gaslight people. It's the norm to push your narratives and make truth optional. And it's the norm now to confuse people to the point that people say, I don't know what the truth is anymore. And I just feel in my personal opinion, I feel like that's almost just a cop-out and an excuse, because, anybody that doesn't know the truth anymore, there are ways in which you could really seek after the truth if you really wanted to. You know, there are ways in which you could find out the truth. I mean, you gotta dig deeper. You gotta dig a little deeper. You gotta work a little harder. You gotta, really look. I know it's harder now. It's harder now because all the information seems to be like all these sources and where we get information is very controlled. So a lot of the truth is suppressed. So I know it's harder. And that's why I feel that one of the most important things that we could do is strengthen our discernment and learn how to listen to our intuition, like learn the voice of our intuition. Like you have to have a familiarity with your intuition, and I honestly don't know what it's like for people that don't have that familiarity with their intuition, because I've always had very strong intuition. I've always felt like my life has taken me exactly where it wanted me to go because I know how to listen to my intuition. I know how to follow my spiritual guides, and spiritual guides in the sense of you just know that that's the door you're supposed to go through. You just know that that's the man you're supposed to marry. I just felt like I heard this voice in my head, or I felt like my spirit just knew that this is what I was supposed to do. This is where I was supposed to go. This is what I'm supposed to do next. This is who I'm supposed to marry. Like I said, this is where we're supposed to live. I just felt like I knew it. So I don't know what it's like for people that don't have that friendship, that connection with the intuition. So I don't know what that feels like. So what I would say is, like, you have to examine within yourself if you are connected to your intuition, if you are connected to that discernment, that thing that tells you in your gut that something doesn't feel right. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your body that this doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. You might not know the details, but you just got this feeling, And I feel like intuition and discernment are the tools that we're going to need to navigate the future that is coming our way, because we have come to the point that people have opened Pandora's box. We have come to the point that the world is in such a dark, dangerous place now that we literally are so close to the edge, the end, the end of everything. We've come to a really bad place. We're in a really dangerous place on the planet right now. And humanity's future and the planet's future, but mostly humanity's future, is at stake. We're in trouble. And I'm having to learn how to not carry the world on my shoulder, how to understand that as much as it feels this way, as much as we might be in trouble, as much as, we have come to the point of no return, almost, if we're not there yet. We have come to the point where how we get out of it, and how we get out of it in a positive manner, how we end up in a good place, is a mystery to me. It's a mystery to me. All I know is that I feel like mindsets need to change, and they need to change fast. They need to change quickly. I feel like how we see one another, how, has to change. I feel like we need to get all this dark entities, that are trying to control us and lie to us and manipulate us and convince us, like I said, that up is down and down is up. Convince us that, that good is bad and bad is good, convince us that truth is lies and lies is truth, and have us confused. We need to get those entities off our necks, off our backs, so that we could heal this planet, so that we could raise the vibration of this planet, so that we could change mindsets, so that we could do better. Even when people might be thinking that they want to do better, they want to change, you always got this damn voice in your head. And unless you figure out a way to get that voice out of your head, you got to get that voice out of your head. Turn off that, that show or the television that you're watching, the so-called media that you're watching, or turn off these podcasters that keep drilling in your head to be angry all the time, to be scared all the time, to blame others all the time, blame the wrong people, to throw you off the scent of who you actually supposed to be looking at, who's actually causing you problems, including them. They are causing you problems. They're the ones that are making your world so dark and so ugly, that you just live in constant anger and despair and fear and worry. For me, I've done all right in the last couple of months. I had some really bad days because sometimes the news and there's so much bad news in one day that you can't help yourself, especially when you're tired. When you're drained, it is even worse. You can't help yourself. You can't help but to think that to feel it. You can't help it. You feel it. I have days like that where I feel despair just like everybody else, and not necessarily fear, but despair just like everybody else. I feel like I don't belong here. I hate this timeline. I don't know what to do. I can't manage. This is painful. It hurts. I want it to stop. I feel all that ugly. I feel all that energy. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and I get up and I go again and I feel better. I feel better because I'm rested, so I can manage. I'm rested. I got through the day. I survived and I can manage. But for the most part, I did all right. And the reason I did all right is because I cut certain things out of my life. I just recently deleted my Instagram accounts, and Instagram was my main place of putting out content. I gave up the little bit of following that I built there. It wasn't a lot, but it was, it was more than I have in other places now. I gave up those things on Instagram for more than one reason. But one of the reasons before the announcement, all the announcements, all the right-wing gesture announcements that MZ made, before that, I was already thinking about leaving Instagram. I was thinking about leaving it because I just felt like I wasn't reaching anybody. I wasn't growing. I felt like all my content and all of what I had to say and all of what I was creating and working on and had to offer was just, like it was being eaten by the Instagram monster. It was just like going into the abyss and disappearing. I was putting all that work out there and I was barely, like really barely being seen. And that was my thought before, like I said, MZ made his announcement and did all the things that he did to show us where he aligns, And then when he did all that stuff, when he did all what he did, donating to the DJT inauguration fund and throwing balls and like eliminating fact checkers and all this stuff that he started to do, right? All the stuff he announced he was going to do and he did, that was a confirmation to me that I had to go. So that was like, that made me feel more vindicated and more justified to leave and confident in leaving. So I deleted my account, and you know, it's not permanently deactivated as yet, because I have to the 19th. I deleted it on the 19th because I chose that day specifically because that was supposed to be the day, that was one of the reasons. It was the day before Inauguration Day, and it was also the day that TikTok was supposed to be banned, and that was, so I chose that day for that reason. And then TikTok did their performative BS as well, and showed us, the CEO showed us where they were aligning themselves. So, you know, that was very revealing. However, I still decided that I was going to try to use this as a tool anyway, because I still think it's a powerful tool. And if I could use the time before it completely shifts, if it completely shifts into what it's going to morph into, you know, eventually, if I could use that time to kind of like build a community, I would try. And like I said, I am an introvert, so it doesn't, what I'm doing right now, all this talking and talking and talking, it's not, it took practice, you know. When I was on Instagram, I made a lot of videos, and I done a lot of talking videos over the last couple of years, and that helped me to be able to develop more confidence in speaking aloud. But at the same time, it's still not my full nature to do this, you know. This is still me stepping out and doing something outside of my comfort zone. I'm a lot more comfortable doing it than I used to be, but it's still outside my comfort zone, you know. So yeah, so just like stepping out and stepping out in faith, stepping out in just stepping up, because that's what we really got to do right now. We got to step up. We got to do things that are outside of our comfort zone, and we got to start, you know, pursuing radical disobedience. I don't know if that's the right way to word that, but like, radical disobedience to me, like not obeying in advance, you know, not obeying in advance to me is holding that light, pursuing those pursuing your life purpose, not stepping back in fear, not stepping away, not shunning away from what you feel called to do because you're afraid. This is not the time to be afraid, because when you are stepping out in light and faith and courage, you're basically doing it for not only yourself but your neighbors, who need to see people be courageous, who need to see people hold on to their light, who need to see people hold on to their faith. You're doing it for your neighbors who are presently here with you. Then you're doing it for the future generations, because who the hell wants to pass on a world that these horrible people are trying to manifest and create with all their saturated power and wealth? Who the hell wants to pass on that world? That is not a sustainable world. I don't know why there's not enough brain among all these wealthy people that they can't figure out that is not a sustainable world. And my only thought is that they would have to know what the fuck they're doing, and they would have to know that they're literally trying to destroy the world. They would have to know it, right? Because you're so blinded by your greed. You're so blinded by your hate and your greed and your ego and narcissism and lack of empathy and cruelty, that you just like, you can't see that this is not sustainable. You can't see that this is not going to work. This is an imbalanced world. Is that the right word? Unbalanced world. Or the world is not in balance and harmony. And that is not good. It is not sustainable. It's not sustainable even for the wealthy and the powerful. They're just too blinded. by all the greed and all the quest for power and the lust for power and all that. They're just blind, you know. But now is not the time to shy away. Now is not the time to dim your light. Now is not the time to hide. You know, this is the time to step into that power, step into your light, hone your superpowers and step into your purpose, and keep the faith and hold on to the light, and step the heck out of your comfort zone and do the things that make you uncomfortable. And that's why I'm gonna say, this is not my comfort zone, and I'm gonna tell you that because I want you to understand that I am doing something that is not comfortable for me, you know. And it would have been less comfortable for me many years ago, but I'm more comfortable with it now because I practice. I'm doing it because I want to pass on a better world to my kids. I have 5 kids. And I don't want my kids to have this, like I said, this world that they're manifesting. I don't want my kids to... I just don't want to have it. I don't want them to live in this kind of world. So I gotta do my part. I gotta do my part for my neighbors. My neighbors being people that I live on this planet with, and my world, my planet, my home that I love, planet Earth, which is a beautiful freaking planet. It's a wonderful planet, and only greedy, ignorant, awful, terrible people don't recognize how beautiful and wonderful this planet is, and not to destroy it. Don't destroy it. You know, don't be so freaking greedy and selfish and awful, you know. And I care about humanity. I care about humanity. I care about the children, and I care about our world. So I'm going to do my best and do my part. And I could only do it in the way that I could do it. And like I said, I'm a light worker. I don't get angry easily, so I'm not gonna be like, I just can't. I'm an empath, so I cannot watch every detail of what these people are doing because I can't absorb that. It would kill me. Because their whole intention is to drown us in our despair and our fear and our worry and all the ugly things and the chaos. So we can't think straight. We can't think straight. We can't process anything. We can't realize that these people are fakes, and they're, you know, a lot of it is a facade, and a lot of it is performative BS, and a lot of it is, you know, putting on a show so that people will freely surrender their freedom and their free will, that you would like just hand it over to them. You know, here's my light, here's my purpose, here's my life, here's my free will, take it all, take it. You know, you just hand it over to them. They're trying to scare the F out of people and make it hard for them to process so they could just hand over everything. And you know, they got the media, and they have so many people in so many powerful positions with the loudest bullhorns and the platforms, and they have all the information. They have the, you know, a good chunk of the loudness. They're taking up all the oxygen on the planet, you know. But you know, one of my favorite Bible stories, and just so you know, I'm agnostic. So, but I grew up in the church, and I know a lot of Bible stories. I haven't read my Bible in a long time, but I have a lot of Bible stories and verses locked into my soul because I raised up in the church. I'm glad I was raised in the church, because I'm glad I know some of the things that I know, you know. But you know, I see things differently from you know, growing up in the church. I have a different perspective now. But the wisdom of the Bible is still the same. The wisdom is still wisdom. And one of my favorite Bible stories was David and Goliath. And the thing is that Goliath was huge. He was a giant, you know. He was big, powerful, loud. And David was small. And David was so small, for according to the Bible story, that he couldn't even put on the armor. He couldn't put on the armor that the other soldiers was wearing. And all he had was his slingshot, right? This is his story. All he had was his slingshot. And why I favor that story is because that story works in favor of the underdogs. You know, we might be the underdogs because we don't have the money and the power and the judges, you know, and the connections and the platform and the loudness. But that doesn't mean that we hand over our power, because one of the things that make us most powerful is our individual light. That's why I like these stars, you know, these stars represent us. Each one is us, you know. And I mean, like, yeah, one star by itself might not be as cool and as bright and as powerful, but all the stars in the sky just scattered everywhere, you can't miss them, you know, you can't miss them. So it is coming together in our light, coming together in our shine, you know, and doing our part. I feel like when I do my part, I am giving others permission to do theirs. That is another thing. That's one of my favorite quotes too. You know, our biggest fear. You remember that quote? Our biggest fear is not that we're inadequate, and I can't remember the exact words, but you know, basically, the quote says that when we shine, we give others permission to shine. When we speak up, when we step in our purpose, we give others permission to step into their purpose. When we are courageous, we give other people permission to be courageous. Because, you know, something that's how humans work. We feel stronger and more empowered when other people are doing it. You know, there are some people that are meant to be the frontliners, the ones that say it first and do it first. And there's some that are going to be looking for those people to step up first, and then they will follow. So when you step up, you give other people permission to step up. And when you shine, you give other people permission to shine. And I hope that, you know, people was listening to this live. You know, I honestly, I have been doing this for hours. I've been in this room for hours, like just making videos, but I just felt called. I felt called so strongly that I was supposed to do this live. And I tried it before. I tried it earlier, and it was a little less smooth. And my battery started dying, so I had to stop. But I could have just left it there. I could have just left it there and just, you know, like take my ball and go home and say, okay, maybe today is not the day. But today felt like the day. Today felt like the day. And I hope that people were listening to me. I hope that people heard what I had to say and take something positive from it. You know, I really, really appreciate anybody who was listening. I hope it made a difference. I want to try again. I want to do it, you know, some more. And, you know, everybody here on TikTok for me is strangers, because I never open my comments on TikTok. I post on TikTok and I just leave the comments closed. So I never really got to know anybody. I've never heard anybody say anything to me because I didn't give them a chance. And the reason I didn't give them a chance is because, you know, I am an INFJ empath. And part of being an INFJ empath, the I represents introvert, one of those I's, you know, introvert, intuitive. And the empath part is, you know what an empath is, you know, you're absorbing other people's energy. And for me, when I post things online, it wasn't for me to get compliments or comments, or, you know, it wasn't really for me to get a big lot of attention. I just really felt like I have a message to bring across, a message of love, a message of truth, love, and light. I take the time every day to try to learn new things and expand my understanding and my wisdom and my knowledge so that I could share, you know. And I felt called to do it. I felt called to do it in the last 8 years because I keep seeing how the more I watched and the more I observed, I keep seeing how we were starting to no somebody that became a public leader and got this big platform, somebody that was a cheat all their life and a disgusting human being all their life, somehow managed to con their way into the highest position in the world, and they used it to their advantage. They used it, right? And they created this world in which lies was no big deal anymore. It was accepted. Nobody questioned it. Not enough people. I mean, the people whose job it was to, I guess, well, how do you say it? To inform people, to speak truth to power. Is that how you say it? The people whose responsibility it was to call out people on their lies just capitulated to the liars and the gaslighters, and they helped create this world that we're in now. They bear a lot of responsibility for the world that we're in now, not just the liars, but the people that was meant to be, gatekeepers of truth, the ones that hold them responsible, accountable, and call them out. They capitulated, like I said, most of them, and they bear a good brunt of the responsibility of, again, the world that we're in now. And because of that, people such as myself and many people out there, many people that y'all listen to and hear, people such as myself felt inclined to speak up, Oh, I just realized people sending me stuff. Oh, that's so cool. Just got #1 gift or badge. More likes can attract. Keep it up. Oh, I got 1 heart. Wait. 30. Oh, so guys, reminder, I do not, I'm not accustomed, so I'm not seeing things. 37 hearts. That's really cool. Wow. Okay, so this is my first live, like I said. And I'm just getting a feel for the place. I wanted to do this live because I wanted to encourage people. I want to do more of it, and I guess the more I do it, the more I will understand how it works. 51 hearts. That's cool. If I'm seeing correctly. Wow. That's really cool. Okay. I'm also going to probably try to watch some sort of tutorial or whatever so I can understand specifically how these lives work, But I hope that, you guys were enjoying it. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to do some more. Because like I said, we all got to step out. We got to, if we all just reach a couple of people, that could make a huge difference, because what's going to be needed now is going back to community, keeping smaller circles and closer connections, really talking to people, communication. I mean, we're going to have to go back to the basics of the way how human beings talk to each other and treat each other. We're going to have to go back to the basics. So even though we're going to be moving forward into a future that is, technologically advanced with more innovation and more color, right? Because that's one of the reasons I don't want to go back. Come on. I'm wearing a shirt that I love, right? With some flowers printed on it. And I'm thinking that back in the old days, it was just all these plain, boring colors, and only the wealthy people had colored clothing, and all of us could be cool. All of us could, dress in beautiful colors, and we could express ourselves, and we could create, we could do so many wonderful things. And who the hell wants to go back to the way things were? I mean, the past was that, I know who wants to go back, because that past benefited the wealthy and the powerful. So the wealthy and the powerful want to go back to when we had slaves, and you could, you had slave labor, or cheap labor, and there wasn't any rules of how you treat the people that work for you, and you could just like fire people because you feel like it, and you could like harass women, and you could, you could treat your employees poorly and pay them nothing and don't offer them any health care. And only the wealthy and the powerful and the greedy and the ignorant and the corrupt and the horrible people on this planet would want to go back to that, but everybody else, nobody wants to go back to that. We want to move forward. We want to progress, like seriously, the human race has gone through so many damn things that is ridiculous for us to like go back to the old ignorant, small, low vibrational mindsets, and that's just dumb. That's just dumb. So back to what I was saying, we all have to step into our power, step into our light. We have to, we have to not surrender our freedom, not surrender our free will, not surrender our minds and our body and our soul. Because you got to remember a thing, they cannot take it. I know they make you feel like they could, but they can't. They can't take these things from you. You have to give it to them because you're afraid. And I mean, like, seriously, what kind of world you want to live in if you, like, just give into fear and you surrender all these beautiful things that we have achieved as a human race, Empathy is a beautiful thing, even though they're trying to bullshit you and tell you that empathy is a sin. Empathy is a beautiful thing. Caring for the fellow humans, and it not mattering their sexual identity and their race and their pronouns and, all these different things. It doesn't matter because a human is a human, A human is a human, and a human deserves to be loved. And every human deserves the same things, The only time that you don't deserve it is when you create an environment in which you are so awful that you really don't deserve it. You don't deserve to be loved. You don't deserve to be respected. You don't deserve people's kindness and forgiveness because you have just earned, by being so terrible, you earned their disdain, and you earned their, you earned your bad karma. You sowed the seeds for your bad karma. But for the most part, a human is a human, and a human deserves, all humans just deserve the same human rights. The right to be here, the right to be loved, the right to love who they want to love, because no fucking body should like set rules on who we love. And yes, I grew up in the church. So I kind of like was taught the same thing about, homosexuality being a sin and all that. And I remember when I was young, I wrote a poem. When I was younger, I wrote a poem called "The Absence of Love," and I was questioning that because, like, frig, man, I just wanted to love people. I didn't want all these damn rules about who I should love and who I should be kind to and who I should, respect. And, I didn't want all these rules. I just wanted to love people because all these rules just to me made living here just too damn complicated. It made me a more fearful person. It made me fear other people that was like that, that was different, or that I was told were sinners, And I started questioning it. The Absence of Love, the poem I wrote, was talking about the fact that I felt like the greatest sin was the absence of love. That was the main point of the poem. And I wrote it when I wasn't that great a poet. It was a real basic poem. But the message was still powerful. The message was, I felt, the absence of love felt like the biggest sin to me. And I said in my poem, it doesn't matter, like, who you... it doesn't matter all the things that and the reasons people say that you are a sinner, to me, the absence of love was the biggest sin. So, you know, so that I was questioning these things, you know, even at a younger age, I was questioning these things. And at some point when I had my spiritual awakening, I had made a decision that I'm done with this. I was done with this foolishness. I'm just going to love, period, full stop, no conditions, unconditional love to every human being. I'm going to love. I'm going to love, pure love. That's it. And I stopped going to church. I decided to stop going to church because I felt closer to God in nature than I did at church. I felt that I actually really was starting to feel really disconnected to God in that church, in the churches that I went. And this was at the time that this guy was, you know, was getting ready to be the president in his first term. You know, and I had no idea. I had no idea this man was going to be elected. I was shocked. But I was starting to get a feeling. I was starting to get a feeling when the church I was going to. I was really shocked to see, like, stickers and different things to indicate that there were supporters in the church. In my mind, I was thinking that there shouldn't be a single supporter based on what I was taught, you know, about Christ and taught about love growing up, taught about Christ and God in the church. There shouldn't be a single supporter. I was confused. I was shocked. So the last 8 years revealed a lot to me, and it shaped me into the woman I am now, and it shaped my beliefs on a different level. And it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening. And honestly, I thought that the lesson was going to be finished on election night. I don't know that it was this lesson, what humans have to learn, and the reckoning that we was going to be going through. I didn't know all that was still, there was more to come. I thought we were getting ready to close the chapter. But as election night happened, and I've seen what happened since in my life personally, the people that I've found because of it, and the deeper understanding of myself, and the deeper understanding of humans and us and the world, and even getting to see what they would do with the power and the promises that they made. Like, I appreciate that people are going to get to see them attempt to fulfill their promises. Anyway, my kids are going to be going to bed now, so I'm going to close off this live, and I will do this again another time. I hope you really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for the 51 hearts.